y'all. Welcome to Candid Conversations with Carla. Well, today we have the great fashion designer, Miss Keisha Youngblood. Hey, Keisha.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. Glad to be with Miss Carla today.
Yay. So, Miss Keisha, where are you actually from?
I am actually from Memphis, Tennessee. Good old Southern girl.
Memphis. So, how did you actually come to the DFW area?
So, interesting story. My mom has always kind of loved Texas. So, I actually lived here when I was younger. And then I went back home to Tennessee. My full transition happened back in 2003. I came to care for my mom after a major car accident she was in. And God had me stay, never went back home.
So, how has the actual transition been?
Oh, well, transition is interesting. As we all know, transition is transition.
Yes.
But you have your highs and your lows. But I can honestly say through it all, it was God ordained. The lessons, the trainings have all been training ground. And I can say this is where I was supposed to be for this season and that time that he did bring me here to Texas. Although there was a, kind of more serious reason I came, and thank God that my mom is doing well now. It also still was a transition from my life in being here in Texas. So all in all, I said God had put me where I was supposed to be.
So you just mentioned about transition even for your personal life. What did that even kind of look like? Just a snippet.
Well, just a snippet, it was different. I often laugh at the time. I thought I was on track for purpose. I was in school to become a neurosurgeon.
Wow.
At the University of Memphis. And then I had decided to just get into this program at a career institute college because I was like, let me try to get a job working in the hospital so I can kind of make some good money while we're here. Long and behold, that whole transition, like I said, was preparation for me to come here from my mom. All of that training was the training I used to come here and care for her for that whole first year that I was here. So that's how I kind of knew, okay, God, you were kind of setting this plan. It wasn't about me at that time. It was about what he was preparing me for and what he needed me to do for her.
Wow.
And that was the point of me coming to Texas. But through that is when he began to walk out the transition of purpose and why I needed to be here.
Wow. And so you never even used that education after that, right?
Never again. Miss Carla didn't even touch. Now, I do have a love for people. I think that medical sense is always there because I love medical shows. I still get excited about it when I see it. So I think that love for medicine was real. It just wasn't the purpose God had for my life. It was just for that particular season.
Oh, wow. So what is it that you do now?
So now I am a fashion designer. Still kind of getting to do it part-time. Of course, it's my dream. I work every day in events, and I have a corporate background in executive administrative work. But now I have been walking out this very long season of trusting God as I really shift to fully being able to walk out my purpose in fashion and doing the things that God has called me to do for his people. I think I have a big love for helping God's people in a creative way.
Yes.
To open doors, like with the arts, with fashion, just those different areas. I think God is going to use me to kind of do some new things and kind of really, really help people in a different way that we might not have thought about.
Wow. So how did you actually get into events? And does that actually coincide with like the fashion side?
So it's so interesting. I want to say I've been in events since I was a little kid. I come from a family, my aunt, we've always had like parties and we would always decorate the house and have balloons. I was a kid that felt like everybody should have balloons at their birthday, or you should just have a celebration for your special day. So I feel like I kind of grew up in it, not even realizing it. So God just kind of really opened a door for me to kind of see events, and I got to work for an event company here in Texas for a few years that really kind of just even had that thrive, that love and that passion grow even more to the point that I did start my own event company. I do have my own event company, and it's interesting when God is teaching you how to try to balance one business, because most people know me on the fashion side, but in putting one down, you kind of see how they coincide together. But I've learned over this recent season of kind of really walking out purpose more, that although events is a thing that I love, I don't think it's the main thing God called me to. It is one of the things that I do well, but to me, I think it's just another great way to serve. That's why when I kind of made the statement earlier that I told you, I think God has given me kind of a creative way to really help people through the arts. I think I look at events more now like that's another way I get to serve people.
Wow.
And making, their day special, their event special, celebrating something, their job, activity. So it's just another creative way I think you get to serve.
Wow. You just said a lot here. So what I really, really love about what you just said is you do events and fashion. How did you actually come to that your actual purpose was more so fashion versus events? Especially since you're, multi-talented and multifaceted.
Yeah.
How did you really determine what was more so your actual purpose?
It's interesting. They often say you find that thing that you do and you do it all the time, and if time can just get away, then you love to do it. I kind of had that with the events, but there were still those parts of me where it kind of felt like a job and a chore, whereas with fashion, you can throw me on the sewing machine at midnight and I can sew to 5 o'clock in the morning, get off the machine, take a shower and go to work.
Wow.
And as tired as I can be in doing the fashion, it's just like it still would exude out of me, or I could take a break from sewing and doing fashion. Like prime example, we just had Paris Fashion Week and I was like, my wheels are just turning and excitement just oozes out of me after watching that. So it's like when you really learn and listen to the things that are purpose down inside of you. And I'll take it a step further. When I've done fashion shows, when I get to dress the models or dress someone, the excitement that they would have when they would put on my garments would make me feel so good to watch them feel good. So it's just really that thing of working between the gifts, and when you're being intentional about what you do and really paying attention to how you feel, how things unfold. God kind of led me down that path to know, okay, fashion is really your purpose. There are things that I have planned to do through you, through that industry. I think I always hesitated because I'm like, God, you don't need fashion. How does fashion equate to purpose? And he was like, no, not that I need the necessarily gift of fashion, but there's things I will do through you for my people through that avenue. And once I kind of started to see it that way, I kind of understand that purpose is purpose. God uses everything.
And even just in just everyday life, when we look at someone, that's what we see. We look at what they have on and how they're presented. So fashion really is more, it has more purpose than what we even think. But something you said earlier really, really piqued my interest, especially as someone who is in fashion. Rarely do I see someone really walk in the true spirit of humility. You just talked about being a servant. Wow, that is powerful because first of all, in the day of it's all about me, myself, and I, rarely do you see a servant, a true servant, and I see that with you. So where did you, how did you, or how do you remain humble?
I think that's not hard. That's the innate makeup of who I am. My mom and my team would sometimes fuss at me because we could be at a fashion show. Prime example, my first time doing New York Fashion Week, and we had finished doing the show, and I had gone backstage, and there was this little girl that had come up to me, and I was sitting on the floor with her, and she was just telling me how excited she was about the show and how I piqued her dreams even more to want to be a model. And she was like, I want to walk for you one day. And it was like, those were the things that I aspired to love. And the rest of my team was like, hey, we need you for interviews. Out front, they're looking for you. But me, I was back there talking to this little girl and sweeping up and packing up, my clothes. I think innately, I'm just a humble spirit by nature. When I walk into anything, I feel the spirit to just, remain low and serve. Although I am there to represent my brand and something for me, I feel like even with the models, I'm still serving them. So I'm cautious about how I treat people, how you speak to people, how you handle people. I think that's just how God created me.
Yeah.
To be, I couldn't see myself being anything other than humble.
Right. I think it's a breath of fresh air, especially in today's times. Also, I can't imagine how it must feel when you are creating a piece and to see someone model your piece, because you took it from scratch and you created it. Like, what does that, I know you just spoke on it a little bit, but like, what does that represent for you?
It's interesting because when you're designing, it's like God gives me these ideas, and literally I know He gives them to me because they sit in my brain until like I sketch it out or I get it out on paper, and then it'll start the process of finding the fabric, and I almost lock into the zone of getting the design done that I'm not even really paying attention to the part of it where you're going to get to the show and then you dress somebody and then you stand back and kind of see this full look completed before you. So I'm always kind of honestly taken back at the fashion shows because I get in such a laser focus of just work and working on the design and getting it done that I'm almost kind of in awe when I get to that point where I get to kind of see it all come together as one.
So you love the process of the creativity.
I'm a huge storyteller, so I really get enthroned into once God kind of gives me it literally is like unpeeling layers because He will downpour the idea first and then the idea kind of manifests into what the story is going to be again because I tell a story and everything I do I can't even help myself but then when that story begins to unfold and He leads me to the things, then the designs start to download in my brain, like you said, and then you get into kind of creating that. And then I sit down with my team. My mom, who I talk about and love so much, is the head of my styling department within the brand. So then I'll sit down with her and then we just get to collaborating on all the accessories or everything, because that's one thing about me. Whenever I do a fashion show, they kind of have this process where, models will bring their own shoes, they'll bring their stuff, but generally any show that we do, we're going to bring the entire look from the accessories to the shoes, because I care about the details. We care about the details that much down to every piece of the outfit has to be specifically chosen for the story that you're telling within that piece. So we tend to kind of get together and brainstorm and it just all comes together. So like I said, when we get in the room and now we're putting the model in the piece, she's putting on the shoes, the accessories, and you stand back and it's kind of like, wow. Especially when we have all of them dressed and you see them standing in a line and you've seen this collection that has come together and it's cohesive and everything is matching. It's a great feeling to see.
When I think about fashion, I've never thought about storytelling. Wow. I mean, even that in itself is pretty creative. Wow.
Yeah, so like I'm so excited about that. Yeah. Just to kind of give you a prime example, one fashion week I did, the story that he kind of gave me was when the model meets the jungle. And he had given me this vision of using these different birds and animals to actually create the pieces. So like I had pieces that were reminiscent of a peacock, an eagle, an ostrich.
Nice.
And what it was supposed to be is if the model had wandered into the jungle and just sat down in a circle with these animals and had a conversation, and this is what came from it. And so awesome. It was like at the time, because kind of funding the brand on my own, I couldn't fully like transform the room like I wanted doing a show. But if I were able to like have been in a venue and done it myself, I would have transformed that venue to look like a jungle. So everybody that is coming into the room is now sitting inside the jungle and you can hear the animal sounds and the water. So I really believe in telling the story. And like I said, I just think that's my creative side. Even in the events, anything that I do, I believe you have to tell the story.
That is so awesome. And as a writer myself, I just find that very fascinating because I guess I always thought about it just a whole visual thing
Mm-hmm.
and that it was only visual. Of course, there always has to be a theme, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to know that there's an actual story, wow.
Mm-hmm. You'd be interested to know that there are actually a lot of designers that come from that place, like you're coming
Wow.
from telling a story. Because we
Yes.
often don't think that, like, we want our brands to make a statement, we want them to
Mm-hmm.
tell a story. So I know for me, that's kind of a big standpoint in my brand.
Mm-hmm.
As I am I've been away from the industry for a few years, probably like the year before we went into COVID. So I've been out of the industry about 6 years. And even that realization this year was like, wow, you've been gone for a while. And God's been like, it's time to go
Mm-hmm.
back. It's time to get back out there. So as you see me kind of reimagine,
Mm-hmm.
reinvent the brand and prepare to come back to runway, yeah, that's always a big thing with me. Is my collections will always tell a story, and you'll be able to see that story through the brand or through any show that you see I do.
Awesome. Well, what I even love about what you just said is that so you were away and now you're coming back.
Yes.
So apart from being inspired by God to
Mhm.
restart, what pushes you to even come back?
It's so interesting because for a while I did not think I would
Mm.
come back. That's what was so interesting in kind of the evolving world and the changing of things. And
Mm-hmm.
often sometimes with your dreams when you're walking them out, and if
Mm-hmm.
something's so manifest, then you often wonder, is it supposed to be? But again, one thing God showed me is if that thing burns down in you
Yes.
and it doesn't go anywhere, or like I was saying, as I was watching Paris Fashion Week these last couple of weeks, like my spirit was so like
Yeah.
roughed up and like, oh, I just want to
Yes.
be there and I just want to do all the things. But I'm like that with anything I see in fashion, and it's like that feeling is not for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't just go away, and he didn't put that in me for it
Yes.
to lie dormant. So for me, I think it was okay, it's time for you to not allow yourself to die in the process before.
That's right.
Because we can do that too. We can
Yes.
walk out a dream and it can be hard, and you can often take your mind back to those hard moments and then let that deprive you from trying again. Because as we know, failure is a part of growth.
That's
So
right.
when you fail, you learn a lot that teaches you how to prepare better. When you come back, and do it again, you learn from mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
that you make with clients, things that you know not to do the next time. So I know the dream is God gave me such a big dream. It used to scare me, and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of used to want to run from it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think I'm in that place in my life now, from the lessons I've learned, the things I've walked out, that I want to run towards my dream. I've said before, I got to a season before I started the first time where the fear of not knowing what I could be rang in my ears louder than the fear of doing it.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of in that place now. It's like now I'm in even another place where I'm like, how dare I not walk out this purpose that God prepared for me? That's what you made me for. So you have to walk out this purpose. You have to live every moment to be who He called you to be. So with that, I have to give it everything so that I walk out every area of purpose that He has shown me, in the areas that I don't even know what He's even going to do with me yet. So with all of that being wrapped up in one, it was like, okay, yeah, now let's plan, let's prepare. It's time to go back. We had COVID, which that kind of took us through a season, and I think after that it was just some different things that our world has experienced that I looked up
Yes.
and didn't even realize I had been gone
Right.
so long. But definitely just in my private time, in my prayer time, God has dealt with me, and He says it's time. Now it's time to get back, and I'm really excited. I'm you have the scareways there because I had twins a couple of years
Right.
ago. So being a new mom again, and then being a mom to a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and then my husband as well. It's a full life, but I think in anything with prayer and consecration and balance and being a great steward, of my time and the things
Mm-hmm.
that I need to do to prepare properly for this season will allow me to be able to accomplish things that He put in me.
Girl, that is so powerful. First of all, not to give up on your dream after being away,
Mm-hmm.
but then also balancing motherhood of some twins, by the way.
Girl. Oh, that's a story in and of itself.
Yeah. What would you tell that person? And because I don't know, I just feel just led to even just encourage somebody who, especially because sometimes we can see obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are obstacles, whether it's a schedule, a busy schedule,
Mm-hmm.
or new motherhood, or just motherhood, or just being a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or just even life. What life throws at us.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say as far to encourage someone out there who may have given up on that dream, or maybe it seems like unattainable?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
what I would really say to that person is not to give up on the dream. You may have to reimagine the process.
That's good.
And how you obtain the dreams. And I'm saying that may be as small as breaking down one little part of the dream.
That's good.
And focus on that one little part, and understand that focusing on that one part might be a year.
Mm-hmm.
Because God never told us when the timing was. I think we as people also kind of put this structure on time,
yes,
that we think we're supposed to do it
yeah,
by this certain time, instead of understanding that timing
mm-hmm.
is everything with God. And so I would say too, if you have a dream that is living down inside of you, burning down inside of you, don't give up on that dream. Just reimagine what that process needs to look like to obtain it. God showed collaboration is key. There may need to be you getting in a room, you know, stepping outside of yourself to talk to someone to help you figure out how can you obtain this dream. Part of the dream might not even been for you to manifest it. It might have been for you to bring someone in that helps you manifest that dream. So I think you just have to kind of sit down and reimagine the dream. As we know, we're in an evolving world that changes. So taking the time to kind of say, okay, let me evaluate. How can I still pull off this dream with everything God has laid before me, or with my circumstances? If you have children or you're working, you know, every day and haven't gotten to that point in the dream where that can be, you know, what it is that you do, but start making small goals. That's what I even did. For me, it was coming back to fashion was like, okay, get in your studio and just clean it up, you know, but that also helped me get back in the mindset as stuff like I started to put my thread up in my color scheme, started folding my fabric up, started to build the room. That was even building the excitement more in me to really get back to it. And I hear in my spirit even saying, one thing that I hadn't fully done that I've done this time is, even when you reimagine your dream, if you've never really fully written the vision,
yes,
you can't fully do it. And I know sometimes writing it out, how big it is, might seem scary, but you have to really write the vision and make it plain.
Make it plain. So
that you can now begin to create the process of how do we really walk this dream out.
Yes, that is so powerful. There is so much in what you just said. Reimagining the dream, reimagining even your purpose, because some just like I don't know, it wouldn't come to my mind naturally that hey, it might not be me doing every single thing, but God may have you have a team, right? And even that because it's not in and of our own selves that we do anything. It's in Him that we live, move, and have our being, right?
Yes. I tell you, Miss Carla, it's been some getting it together over here, and God snatching me up.
That's it.
To get me right, though. But I think it's necessary. I don't want to waste any more time. As you know, we don't have a lot of time.
That's right.
And we have to be very kind of precious with what time we have left and how we value it between family, our aspirations, you know, our dreams, what we're called to. So I'm really passionate about doing what He's called me to do, and taking the steps that I need to take to now move in a season, in a world where everything is moving so fast and changing. Is all the more reason why we have to be even more avid about our purpose.
That's right. And you just talked about time. I do think that when God actually gives that or reignites that passion within you, that is the time, like he redeems the time in order to give us
Yes.
the time in order to complete that thing.
Mm-hmm. And now you just said a thing too. When he reignites that in you, you have to move.
Yeah, that's
because he didn't reignite
Mhm.
that in you for you to kind of sit on it, because everything happens at an appointed time.
That's right.
So when you're feeling that down in your spirit
Mhm.
like that, it's not even just only saying reimagine the dream, but it's also saying get up and get on that thing
That's
now.
right.
That's
While you
one
have
of the
the
reasons.
passion.
Yeah, why you have the
Yeah.
passion, why he's reignited it, while it's burning
The drive.
inside of you. Even that, he
Yes.
puts that in you for a reason.
Yes.
And it's not just to tell you to do the dream; it's to tell you to get up and move now
Oh
with it.
man. Just because God gives us a gift doesn't mean it's time to take our time.
Mm-hmm.
It's urgent.
Yes.
And if we think about it in the sense that, someone's not getting what they need because we're not moving when God says move.
Yes, that's good.
Somebody's not that's really withholding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to be in the spot. We want to be in the place that we're supposed to be when we're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. That you said was really, really good. It even lends itself and ties back down to the importance of why you have to be, aligned in your purpose and really paying attention to what God called you for, just what you said, because you getting in alignment, you getting in place is not just about you.
That's right.
There is a lineage of lives, and I'm not just speaking to just our children, but there's a lineage of people that it's tied to your purpose. So if you don't get in position, those people can't get in position. So we have to even look at it like that our calling, our purpose is bigger than us, because we're supposed to use it all for God's kingdom. He's using our purpose, and he loves his people. We're on one accord, so you have to get to a place of even really thinking about it from that place.
A story comes to mind, even when we're talking about this, when Esther gets married, right? It wasn't about just her obtaining the promise or just her a great marriage or a great relationship, right? It was God calling for her for such a time as this, to save a people, and their deliverance, their freedom depended on her obedience, and so it's never just about us.
No, and you gave Esther such a perfect, great example of that. Yeah, nothing that we do is solely about us. God is love. Jesus is love. That's where his heart comes from. So anything that has been put in us, it's been put in us, like we said, innately for a purpose, for a reason. Something that always stuck with me, Bishop Jakes was saying best, is, that thing that's given to you, you got to be an answer. So if you're going to be an answer, then that lets you know what you're doing can't be for anything or for any reason, or that thing that God put down inside of you. It's not just because you're like, oh, he gave me this great idea. It's like, no, you're being birthed and you're creating an answer, to a problem. And I think when we really learn to look at it, from those lenses, I think sometimes we'll see a vision or a dream and think something like that can't be birthed out of me, but then why not you?
Yes.
Why not you? Why not you be the one that carries this mantle, to build a people or be just a small part of a dream, that's brought to build his kingdom.
Yes.
So it's like I feel like I've learned that in the recent years, even to look at your purpose and your dream in a different eye, not just so much from you accomplishing, a purpose of something that's put in your life, but accomplishing it from that aspect of doing your part in the kingdom that he needs you to do.
That's really good. Wow. And that's really great too. When God gives you a business, it is an answer to a major question, a major problem.
Yeah. You may have to do the research and the research and the work to figure out where does this thing fit? Where is it an answer? But I think even in you taking the steps to answer that question ignites even more in you to follow the purpose itself.
Yes, that's really good too, because even when something is a natural gift to us, even if it comes to us naturally, it is important to hone our gift. It is important for us to steward the gift.
Yes, and you just said something that you, a point I was going to bring up too, that you mentioned, even in that, yes, we have to, because especially those of us as creatives, he can give us, you know, a gift and we can just be like, oh, I just do that thing naturally. But although he gave you the gift, it didn't take away the fact that you're a procrastinator, or that, you know, you might waste time or not be moving when you should be moving. So it's still within that process of unpacking all of these things about the gift that you're also learning how to now steward yourself, your habits, your mind, and bringing all of those things to the place that they need to be, so that you can now fulfill this purpose, become this answer that he's created you to be. We have to now do that work. And that begins to expose us, you know, of some things that we need to work on, fix, or change in order to walk that path.
I love that, because really, what that really is walking in integrity.
Yes.
And the integrity in which God gave us that gift. He wants us to, you know, what did you do with everything that I gave you? You know, and how did you walk in it? You know?
And I think as I've grown, like going through ministry school and doing the different things, it even opened my eyes to not only when I stand before him, do I want to hear him say, you know, job well done, but in my eyes, I want him to look back over my resume and saw, you know, that she didn't just sit, you know, she did try to accomplish the things that I put in her to be what I needed her to be in the earth.
That's good.
And that's how I try to look at things in my life now, even as I go forward in purpose and walking out the things that God has for me to do.
That's really good. And when you think about how someone increase in gifts, a part of it is, well, how are you walking in the current gifts that I gave you? You know what I mean? Can I trust you with more? You know?
Yes. And often, like you said, we ask him for more, but he's not going to give us more until he see how you steward. What did he put in you right here? What are you doing with this thing right here, that first thing that I put in you? You've unpacked it a lot, Miss Carla.
Yes.
I need a part two.
Yes, we definitely are going to have another conversation, just even about like giftings and wow. This was really, really awesome. And I can't wait to continue this conversation with you in part 2.
And some other things we have coming too.
Yes. Some big things. So, well, it's been a great conversation. I'll see you in part 2. And, well, I'll see you next week here on Candid Conversations with Carla at 7:30 Central Standard Time.